Hello and welcome to another episode of Koi Cubed. We are getting settled into the new space. Wade is here and I am very excited. Oh, and I'm knocking over art because I haven't hung on my art yet. Ironically, all of my other walls have art. My studio wall does not yet because I've got a bunch of stuff I want to add to this wall that I haven't yet assembled. So one day this wall will be done, but it's probably going to be the last wall, which is funny because it's the wall that is seen right here. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's surviving quarantine. We are going to be talking about The Umbrella Academy Season 2 today, but since that show just came out, I'm only going to dive into that as the last bit of news. So we're going to do a bunch of news first, and then link over to The Umbrella Academy Season 2. So if you're watching this later, check the comments below and I'll do a timestamp. If you came here just for the Umbrella Academy Season 2 review, there's going to be a timestamp, but I didn't want everyone that hasn't watched the show yet to have that open the show, so I'm going to move the order around a little bit. So I want to talk about some news to kick off the show, because that's in the news, and then later on we're going to talk about the glory of Umbrella Academy Season 2. Now, kicking off the news this week is me having a beer. I gotta have a beautiful beer from Devour that I am fighting on air. This is bubbling. This is one I've been waiting for a very long time, from Microphone Brewery. Now, Microphone Brewery is out of Ohio, and I love the hip hop theme, and I love that. Oh, it's tasty. I lost a fight to carbonation, but it is tasty. This is me fighting beer on camera. It is from Listerman Brewing Company. So Listerman Brewing Company and Microphone teamed up. And this is how you know the show is live. Oh, that's delightful. So it's got like a really sweet finish. It's a very heavy beer. It's really thick. It's almost like a dessert beer. This is really tasty. It's got like a peanut butter up front, and then like a chocolate at the end. It is described as an imperial stout, that's the thickness, with peanut butter, coconut, vanilla, chocolate, and lactose. There it is. Those are the things in this beer. It is delightful. Highly recommend it. Microphone, which I respect the pun, and Listerman teaming up, making good beer. Devour is a company that sends beer directly to your door. Devour is this great company, Devour Tavern, Devour, that basically you can order your own custom craft brews from all over the country, and basically all the craft brews together are shipped out to you. So you don't have to be in Ohio for this beer, you don't have to be a local beer brewer, but this one company pivots them and sends them out, and if you use the code COY10, COY10, you get $10 off after you spend $25 on delicious, delicious beer. So check them out, Devour, COY10. I've been saving this beer and I'm so glad I did. It is delicious. Okay. Beer fight over. I won. COY10, $10 off, $25 and more. Now let's talk about the news. I needed this beer, and it was meant to be a joke, and then I lost a fight to this beer. The joke was going to be, I need a beer to mourn the loss of potential movie theaters, because I was going to pour out a little for my movie theater homies, and that happened more literally than I would have hoped. I would have hoped that was a joke, but here we are fighting beer. Poured out some for my movie theater homies, and I'm a little worried. We are living in a time where movie theaters are always on the edge, and especially if you read the news, movie theaters are on the brink of ending at any given point. You add a pandemic to that, it gets crazier. You add COVID regulations to going back to filming, it gets crazier. You add streaming always nipping at the bit, it gets crazier. You add Disney taking off one of its tentpole films and putting it on streaming day and date with some movie theaters. This could be the beginning of the end. I'm not usually a doomsayer, I'm usually someone that negative, but I do want us to be aware of the possibility that this is a zeitgeist shift. This is a genre redefining everything. It's scary, because basically, Bubbles and show, who will win? Basically, this gives people the opportunity to 6 people watch Mulan for $30. They're gonna spend $5 each instead of spending $10 each at the movie theater. Out in LA, it's $12. $12 times 5, if you go with a family, that's $60 versus $30. There's merit in the finances of it, but the amount that the movie would have to make to recoup costs is insurmountable. Being a Disney Plus subscriber and then $30 on top of that, I don't see them recouping the loss from this film. I also worry that people will get comfortable watching movies at home, and it's going to be a really hard time getting back out to the movie theaters. I'm not going to the theaters yet because I don't think it's safe. I don't know if LA is going to have them open anytime soon, but I know that I won't be attending them because I don't think it's safe. But I don't think people are grasping how long it's going to take for new movies to get made. So if we use up all of our movies, there's not going to be stuff to play in 2021. Everything's been pushed to 2021. The 2021 movies aren't going to be finished till 2023. It's going to take a lot longer to finish these movies, especially the ones that need to be seen in the movie theater, the tentpoles, the giant films. It's really a dangerous precedent to set. So I wrote down a note here. Dan Murrell, friend of the show, friend of the me, good man, Dan Murrell, subscribe to his YouTube, he's great people. He tweeted out a really interesting statistic. Mulan and Artemis Fowl had a combined production budget of $325 million, reportedly. $325 million between those two films. Disney bought Hamilton for $75 million. 325 plus 75, $400 million. So they've taken a $400 million net loss and put those projects on Disney Plus, recouping that with little increments. Hamilton's free with Disney Plus. Artemis Fowl's free with Disney Plus. $30 to recoup $400 million. There are exceptions. Trolls did exceedingly well at home, and that was at the peak of people feeling trapped. Like, it's only going to get worse, but that was the peak at that time. There are places that are open now. I just think this is a really dangerous move on Disney's part, and I also think that this could happen with Black Widow if the precedent is set. I think this could happen with a lot of other movies that should be seen big. Mulan looks like a giant epic. The scope of Mulan is insane. Just the sheer power of Mulan, I feel like should be seen in a theater the first time. But I'm biased. I'm a huge movie theater advocate. I'm a see a movie in a group kind of guy. We can't be in groups right now, but we're not accounting for how long it's going to take movies to get done. So I'm really worried, and $400 million, even for a company that's a conglomerate like Disney, a $400 million write-down in the negative column is a giant deficit. So I'm exceedingly worried. I don't love this. This is one of the worst bits of news I've seen. This feels like another nail in the coffin for movie theaters, but I don't really have any other alternatives. People have been, incessantly tweeting about wanting these movies now, but we literally, it's 2020. Mainstream cinema has been going since, the 40s? 80 years of movies that you have available at home. We have more access at home now. Ow, are there still bubbles? Than ever before in history. We have more content right now than we've ever had before, and may ever again because of this situation, and we're squandering it. It just feels like not the move. I'm going to jump over to the Streamlabs. I just saw a couple Streamlabs pop in. I want to know what you guys are thinking about this very delicate situation. Hitman Hudson, which is a great name, Hitman Hudson has this to say: Spidey Cat is the cutest cat in the entire history of cats. I personally believe Spidey Cat is the divine ruler of the universe. I agree. Coy, I request that this dollar be spent only on Spidey Cat related expenses. To the almighty cat I pray, amen. I will assure you, Hitman Hudson, that dollar will go directly to Spidey Cat. Either food, toys, I won't even count litter because I'm not going to put the cat god poop at this level of love. We're going to only put it towards happiness. So food or toys with that dollar, Hitman Hudson. This I promise you. Hitman Hudson also says, I just finished the Watchmen HBO show, and is it possible to give a show a 15 out of 10? It was better than perfect. I especially love the flashback scene with a young-looking Glass, where we finally got to see the giant squid. All hail Spidey Cat. Again with the Spidey Cat love, and again with the wisdom, because I do agree, 15 out of 10 is where I'd put that show. I've spilled out a little too much for my homies. I'm gonna grab a paper towel real quick. I'll be right back. Apologies for the dead air. Okay, towel acquired. I didn't want new apartment to have new stains and new sticky beer floor, so here we are. Okay, so those two from Hitman Hudson, I agree. It is a 15 out of 10. I think it is a show that's so good it improves its predecessor, the graphic novel, which I had already considered the greatest graphic novel of all time. And then when you rewatch the show after reading the graphic novel, The show is better another time. I've watched the show, not every episode, I haven't had time to watch all of it again, but I've watched pieces of the show after rereading the book, after watching the show, and it only improves those. So what I want to do now is, in the next 5 years, read the book, watch the show, watch the movie, or read the book, watch the movie, watch the show. I want to do a trifecta in like over the course of a month. That's the dream. 15 out of 10, totally agreed. All right, and Michael McCarcel, how we doing, man? Michael has this to say, just a little something to celebrate. Season 2 of Koi Cubed, I just finished Dark on Netflix. Highly recommend to everyone. So Michael McCarcel with some love for Dark. I am going to be doing I haven't started yet, so it's going to be in the making, but I'm going to be doing a review of Death Note for Michael McCarcel this month, because we didn't get through our watch along last month, so I'm going to make up with that with a Death Note review this month, and then at the end of the month, hopefully, we will have time for a watch along. So season 2 is kicking, we're making it happen, and I appreciate Michael's support as ever. I'm very excited to check out Death Note because he speaks impossibly highly of it, so I'm very excited, and thank you as ever for the Streamlabs love. So Death Note and a watch along this month. I'm gonna make so much stuff this month. I'm also thinking, actually let me know in the live chat, I'm gonna read this after, I'm gonna count it up. I'm either gonna do a Coy-lection video for DVDs, or I'm gonna do a live review of An American Pickle after I finish An American Pickle on Thursday. So, do you guys want to see me talk about An American Pickle on Thursday? Do you want to see me talk about my DVD collection? And, spoiler alert, I will be doing the other the next week anyway. So, if you want to see An American Pickle first, let me know. If you want to see my DVD Coy-lection first, let me know. And then the next week, I'll do the other. But let me know what you guys want to see. Thank you, as ever, to the Streamlabs. I will be checking this periodically throughout the show. I'm very worried about movie theaters. I'm very worried about Disney, which is the empire of movies. They obviously are making the billions with a B every year going over to streaming, and I also worry that people are so impatient they can't wait an extra year, which, yes, a year is a long time, but it's going to be a really long time until we have stacked up movies again. We love the summer season. We love having movies start in April and end in August and just have this insane every week something to see. That's not going to happen again for a decade, maybe. Like, to the caliber of what the last 3 summers have been. These movies are going to have to be spread out, especially if we're starting to release them on streaming. It's intense. So I'm worried. Okay, over to the world of The Boys. We got a brand new Boys Season 2 trailer, not review, show's not out yet. The Boys Season 2 dropped a trailer this morning, and it is the most story-heavy trailer we've gotten to date. The trailer is so much fun, and it reads like Volume 3, Volume 7, and Herogasm so hardcore. I don't think Herogasm is going to be in this season, but I got vibes from that era of The Boys out of this. But storyline-wise, this feels like, I don't remember if it's season 3 or 4, an early volume of The Boys where all of the worldwide superheroes are activated, and it's The Boys versus like a legion of superheroes, and I definitely got vibes from that storyline in this trailer, which I'm very excited for. Also, Terror is in this trailer. He popped up very briefly in the last trailer. We get a bark out of him in this trailer. I'm very excited for Terror. It shouldn't be that exciting to see a dog bark, but by golly it is, because it's Terror from The Boys. Derek Robertson draws the hell out of dogs, and I'm really excited to see Terror come to life. So it's going to be really, really exciting. This show comes out in 1 month, September 4th. We get the entire first episode, not first season, entire first episode of The Boys, and then it is weekly after that. Personally, I'm an event show guy. I like that Watchmen took 9 weeks to enjoy. I like that I get to... That one's tricky because, fun fact, I did press for that show, so I got the first 4 episodes. I was given the first 6. I watched the first 4, filmed something, watched the next 2, and then I had to wait 9 weeks to watch the rest, and it nearly broke me. Because I was doing comic book shopping with Damon, and then I did comic book shopping with Yaya, so I had to wait. It was agony waiting that many weeks. Imagine the cliffhanger of 6 and then waiting 2 months for 7, 8, 9. It broke my spirit, but it was so worth it. So I like event television. I like pacing it out. I like that Breaking Bad I got to experience over the course of years. If I had binged Breaking Bad, it probably would have been different. But seasons over the course of a month. I watched all of Umbrella Academy in 4 days. Now I'm out of Umbrella Academy. We're going to do a full review of that with no spoilers, then spoilers at the end of the show. But I'm now done for the year, and I like the pace of getting to experience it because we get to have these conversations. Like right now, I'd be talking about 1 episode of The Boys. And then the next week, I would have had all week to percolate, to grow, to ruminate on the experience, to have little epiphanies talking to you guys, to see tweets, to see memes. I get to live in that hour of content, and then the next one. Some shows I think are made for binging. I think Stranger Things is built like a 13-hour movie. And and I think that there's merit in like Daredevil. Daredevil's a great 13-hour movie. I watched that in like 2 days. But I want more versatility. I'd prefer to have some shows be weekly and some shows be bingeable. So I'm very excited for The Boys to be week to week. Personally, I know some people disagree, but this first trailer, the action of The Boys is only escalated. I love that it opened with an airplane shot because the airplane scene in the first season is so iconic. I love the comedy. It's depraved, it's weird, it's messy, it's The Boys. I love how they do the, oh no they won't, oh yes they do, like with the whale. It's going to be a mess, just like the comic, in all the best ways. A glorious, glorious mess. I cannot wait for The Boys Season 2, 1 month from today. Also, doing something a little different with this episode. I'm also going to be going through my top 20 bits of content for the year. So I expanded it. Usually in a year, in July 1st, I make my half of the year top list. So it usually takes about 25 to 30, so I usually land on 27, top 27, that I percolate over for the first half of the year, and then I look at my movie list at the end of the year, completely different animal. This year, I got July included. I made this list in August, and since we didn't have as many movies, I included TV, and I included Hamilton. I included stage play, so therefore I also included stand-up. So stage, TV, and film, I'm gonna do my top 20 pieces of content that I experienced in the year 2020. So stay tuned later in the episode for my 20 in 2020 if lists are your cup of tea. Okay. Learned a lesson about bottled beer. Bottled beer is not for Koi Cubed, but Tavour has the best bottled beer, so check out Tavour. And I will not be, because dangerous bubbles, whole shenanigans. Okay. We also found out this week that Pineapple Express 2 didn't happen because of financial stuff with Sony, which is fascinating to me. Pineapple Express is one of the most profitable comedies out of that house. It was $27 million to make, and it made $110 million, and then it got a cult following even bigger on DVD. But a giant kerfuffle with financing made sure that Pineapple Express 2 didn't happen. Seth Rogen is doing press for American Pickle, which I'm very excited to watch on Thursday, and basically came out saying, well, Sony we didn't come eye to eye on this, and we couldn't agree on anything, so we are not getting a Pineapple Express 2, and it's such a shame because we saw how much James Franco and Seth Rogen worked together afterward. That movie is one of those comedies that actually holds up, in my opinion, and it really changed how it went from Judd Apatow comedies to this stoner comedy into our new, I don't even know what I'd call our comedy now, but I really liked that beautiful phase of highbrow stoner, I guess what I'd call it, that wise stoner era where there were stoner jokes, but there were also like some smart elements to the comedy. Pineapple Express, I think, embodied that really well, like The First Neighbors did as well. That era of comedy isn't, it's a bit sophomoric and some of it doesn't hold up, but overall I think it was a really good era in comedy. I think that we're gonna see a very different post-quarantine comedy. I'm very curious how comedy handles this year off from observational humor. Obviously there's going to be a lot of pandemic movies, there's going to be a lot of pandemic stand-up as we get safer, but I'm really curious what comedy looks like after this, because movies have been really different lately. Even right before all this ended, like Lovebirds I enjoyed, but Lovebirds felt like a really good series of scenes instead of feeling like a good comedy movie. So that didn't have quite the same flavor for me. I'm really curious what that looks like as we go forward. But Pineapple Express was, I think, the peak of that era of comedy, and I'm really curious how that goes from this point on. So next up in the world of Streamlabs, we've also got from Dan V saying, well, you will also have the comic called Rorschach coming out as a sequel to Watchmen. I did find the finale of the show to be weak and very rushed. Interesting. Where I simply don't buy into what happened to Vite. It was the easy way out and not Watchmen-like. I did not personally have that experience. You're one of the few people I know that didn't like the ending. I thought the ending was like a nice bow. I thought it. So episode 5 is the episode with the mirror, with the I forget his name. I'm not good at names. With the guy who reflected faces back at you. So that was a beautiful mirror. So 4 episodes leading to that bottle episode, and then 4 episodes after. I thought the pacing of the show was impeccable, and I thought the way it all kind of tied together from that 5 was pretty perfect. But if it wasn't for you, totally understand. And I'm Looking Glass, thank you very much, live chat. And I'm very excited for the Rorschach comic because it's from Tom King, who is one of my favorites in the game. I have so much love for Tom King's writing, so I'll be checking out Rorschach the moment I can. Tom King plus Watchmen is made for me, like designed for me. So I'll be checking that out the moment I can. Yes, thank you for plugging that. Thank you for the Streamlabs. Much appreciated. Okay, so let us now dive into my top 20 of 2020. We're going to end the show again with the spoiler and non-spoiler review for Umbrella Academy Season 2, so you're still safe. And then I will be doing my streaming recommendations and my comic book pull list after that, which is the usual format of the show. So you're still safe, but in a minute, if you haven't seen Umbrella Academy, press pause, come back after you've seen it. But for now, my top 20 bits of entertainment for the year 2020 include my number 1. Actually, let's go the other way. Let's do the countdown. Countdowns are more exciting. We're going the other way. My number 20. My number 20 bit of content for the year 2020 was Bad Boys for Life. Bad Boys for Life was a lot of fun. It was a great theatrical experience. I got to see it in theaters before they all stopped. It reminded us of the classic Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2. It definitely didn't have quite the pop and pizzazz I thought Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2 did. I like the directing fine, but there's something about Michael Bay that's just pure Bayhem. There's a reason that man makes his particular movies. There's no one quite like Michael Bay. It was a lot of fun. I really thought that Martin Lawrence and Will Smith coming back felt like a breath of fresh air. I love Joey Pantoliano, Joey Pants, and all of it just felt like a fresh rewind, which is oxymoronic on purpose. It felt both of the era, but also like, man, I love my 90s buddy cop. So I really enjoyed it. It was my number 20. It was a B- for me. I really dug it. Next up, My Valentine. My number 19 is My Valentine, another B-. This is a Hulu original movie from Blumhouse. Full disclosure, I'm friends with the director, and I really was so proud of my friend, so that might cloud my experience, but I don't think it did. It's a really, if you like thrillers, if you like bottle episodes, if you like contained thrillers, like this is very much a bottle episode / contained thriller in very limited locations with a great cast full of a lot of people you guys probably know from the internet space and from acting. It is so much fun, and it is so fucked up. And I love the music in this movie. I love the pace of this movie. I love the lighting. I was really impressed with Maggie's use of light. The light is so much fun. It is this Technicolor dream of madness. Really enjoyed the My Valentine experience from Maggie Levin, who is a powerhouse, and I have much respect and love for that woman's talent. So check out My Valentine. It is on Hulu. It is Blumhouse. It is fantastic. That was my number 19 of the year. My number 18 of the year is Have a Good Trip. Have a Good Trip is a documentary. I will be the first to admit I do not watch as many documentaries as I should. I'll be the first to admit that I love getting information and I love movies, but I rarely put those together. I really need to watch more documentaries, but I rarely do. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, Maggie Levin, the homie is writing Labyrinth 2. So I saw someone in the chat just mention they need to watch more of her stuff. She's doing Labyrinth 2. Very excited for Maggie, and that's public, and I just was able to process, like, Deadline reported on it, so it's fair game. Congrats, Maggie. Labyrinth 2, that's insane. Okay, so next up we've got number 18, which is Have a Good Trip, documentary. Fantastic documentary about normalizing psychedelics. Psychedelics are very important. Psychedelics are very good for depression. They're very good for PTSD. They're very good for fixing mental health. When we started this war on drugs, it was a very dangerous war where we just said everything bad except booze because profit, except tobacco because profit, and we didn't really look at shit. So the movie really looks into the pros and cons of hallucinogens, and I could not recommend it more. It's over on Netflix. It is a very important, bold film at times in saying, like, maybe you're wrong, you've been wrong for a long time. It definitely does the most linear approach to drug documentaries I've seen. It's very easy to watch. It's very digestible. It's stand-up comics and faces you know saying, hey, this is the benefit to this experience. And I think that's really important. I think one of the few merits in our celebrity-driven culture in America is that celebrities can then bring awareness to things that need a light shown on them. So I think it's important that celebrities get into politics. I think it's important that if you follow someone and they see life a certain way, them speaking on that is using their social clout in a positive way. And I think that's the same with this documentary. I think that using, Nick Offerman's one of my favorite people on the planet. I have a lot of love for that man. Nick Offerman saying, like, this is a graph of these results. is always going to be interesting because you're going to pay attention because it's Nick Offerman. You're going to pay attention because he's stand-up comics. So I love this documentary. Have a good trip. My number 18 of the year, and another fantastic B- of the year. My number 17 is The Invisible Man. The Invisible Man is another Blumhouse joint. It is one of the last movies that made it out in theaters before the end of days, and it is a movie that got one of the first pushes to streaming because it had a very limited theatrical window. It did very well theatrically, and then it did even better on home video because that kind of movie does very well. That contained thriller is great to watch at home on your TV. I liked Invisible Man. I definitely didn't love it like everybody else did, which has been a struggle for me because I posted yesterday, I was kind of crowdsourcing if there were movies I missed. What's your favorite movie of 2020? And my top 2 were represented very well, but the number 3 that I saw most was Invisible Man, and I did not vibe with it that much. I thought it was good, I thought it was fun, I thought it was a thriller, I was invested, but I did not think it was any more than a B-. So that is my my number 17, B-, The Invisible Man, a fun time, a good time, but that's kind of where I left it. Next up, we've got number 16, just above The Invisible Man, a movie I did not expect to love, but had a blast enjoying, My Spy. Dave Bautista's My Spy. Man, oh man, was this movie fun. It makes me want to watch a ton of rom-coms starring Dave Bautista. It makes me want to see that man get to play so much more than just Drax, and Blade Runner 2049, which he steals in like 2 scenes. One long scene. Anyway, it's charming, it's funny, it's an easy watch, it's just to lay back and enjoy. It's the kind of movie that you can just have on, which I need sometimes. I don't have to always be taking notes. My Spy is a blast. It's silly, it's simple, it's another B-. Had a great time with it. Next up, we are getting out of the B- into the Bs. The first of the Bs, I believe we're on number 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, number 15! The Way Back. The Way Back, starring Ben Affleck, is an incredible performance from Ben Affleck. It is largely a one-man show. The supporting cast is great, but you're largely following Ben Affleck and his battles with alcoholism. Now, this is one of those therapeutic journeys through film where Ben Affleck actually struggled with a lot of alcoholism issues, and this movie is hard-hitting and brutal. It is directed by Gavin O'Connor, one of my favorite directors working in the game. He directed my favorite sports film of all time, Warrior. He's a brilliant director, and I really love when Ben Affleck and he work together. I thought this was brilliant. It's powerful, it's painful, it's intense. It's largely, like, again, a one-man performance that you follow, but I did give it a B because for me, I'd seen this story enough times that I felt some of the aches and pains of the story I'd experienced before. I have no problem with very tried territory. I love The Winning Season. I loved Half Nelson, which also covered the same similar situation. But in this case, I couldn't give it much higher than that because for me, I felt like I'd seen this before, but I love this rendition of it. It's like once you've seen Hamlet, there can only be, there's 100 ways to play Hamlet, but it's hard once you've seen 100 Hamlets. So I really appreciate it. Gave it a B. Enjoyed the hell out of The Way Back. Brilliant performance by Ben Affleck. Next up, 14, a movie that danced with The Way Back for me. I had a really hard time deciding which I liked more. In this case, I because of that familiarity, I gave this just a leg up. Another B, another fantastic film, an original from Amazon, a return to cinema, home cinema for Joseph Gordon-Levitt. It's 7500. 7500 I thought was an inspired, bottle-contained, super claustrophobic, holy crap thriller, and it's a bold film post 9/11. I know 9/11's been almost 20 years, but it's still very traumatic to see any sort of violence happen on a plane, and this movie does not let up. My palms were sweaty, knees weak, arms heavy, from the opening, and then it just escalated, man. This entire film just crescendos, and it's an intense thriller. I really loved how much this movie made me feel. I really love the performance from Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and the supporting cast is all great, but again, I really like when a movie focuses on one actor and they can really do like a play. It's almost a play. And this movie is Joe just killing it, man. It's such a performance. So I'm going to give some love to 7500, which is my number 14 of the year over on Amazon. Check it out. I feel like nobody's talking about it enough. Number 14, B, 7500. All right, next up, we've got another B. We've got Big Time Adolescence. We've got the incredible Pete Davidson, who is everywhere for being Pete Davidson. And I finally got to see something and go, oh, that guy's Pete Davidson. I hear his name all the time. What's he doing? And he's actually funny. Big Time Adolescence. Here we are. Full disclosure, I watched it because it also stars Machine Gun Kelly, Coulson Baker. I'm a big MGK fan, both as a human, a rapper, and an activist. I think MGK is just great. He's a great actor too. He was in a show from the guy that did Almost Famous that I really liked. Roadies. He's also in Roadies and he's spectacular in it. He's had like 10 movies in the last 4 years. He's killing it. Anyway, I watched this movie because MGK, and him and Pete Davidson are homies, and I really, really liked everything about this movie. It was a coming-of-age story. It was perverse and fantastic. It had a great pace. It felt like it was made to be streamed at home. It felt like we didn't get robbed of theatrical experience. It was a warm blanket of depravity. And it also felt real. All the characters felt very real. Everything about it, like, I didn't judge any characters beyond the realm of that character would make that choice. It was very plausible the way this film laid out. And I've known that kid. I know the guy that Pete Davidson plays. I know the guy that Colson Baker plays. I really, really recommend, for a slice of life film, for a very like minimalist budget, good old time, Big Time Adolescence surprised the hell out of me. Big Time Adolescence was much higher on my list once I was looking at my stuff than I expected. So check it out, highly recommend it, Big Time Adolescence. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, that was 13. Number 12, we've got Onward. Onward is probably most people's last theatrical experience. Onward was a Pixar joint with Chris Pratt and Tom Holland playing brothers who lost their father, and they get some of their father back for a day through wizardry. It's very much a Dungeons and Dragons tale. It's very much a heartwarming tale of fathers and sons, brothers and brothers, mothers and sons, family, friends. It does the Pixar. And does the Pixar. Pixar is now a verb. It does the Pixar quite well. But it did feel like it was one of those Pixar films that I was like, almost. Like, I definitely welled up with a certain scene where a van flies through the air. I'm not going to give anything away, but there's a certain moment I was like, I feel more for the van than I should. And that got me. That's what put it into the B+. This is the first B+ on the list. And it's almost an A-, almost, but like it just didn't quite have all the Pixar magic for me, personally. Voice cast, spectacular, animation, beautiful, and I really enjoyed the experience, but it wasn't quite there, but it's a damn high number. Number 12 of the entire year. Out of everything I've seen this year, Onward is number 12 for its magic, for its humor, for its love, for its message about family, for it being an actual story about brothers that really land, like yeah, Pixar, doing the Pixar. All right, that was number 12. Number 11, we've got The Old Guard. B+ for The Old Guard for me. This is a Netflix original movie that really shows they can flex that Netflix budget. Stars Charlize Theron, Matthias Schoenaerts, and then people I did not know until this film. Those are the only two actors in this film I knew, and I loved all of them. This cast is fantastic. It is an ensemble piece about, I don't want to give anything away. It's very twisty. The trailer gives more than away than I'd like, but if you haven't seen the trailer, I don't want to do that to you. It's a thriller that has great action in the John Wick style that manages to escalate that to multiple members of this group, and the storyline makes their fighting style plausible. That is my review without spoiling anything. Wow. Okay, so once you've seen it, that word salad will make sense, and now you'll play that back when you're watching it. All of the storyline leads to the fighting, and because of the way the story goes, it's plausible and beautiful. The choreography in this film is incredible. The acting is great. Charlize Theron is such a... I want to see her play like an Emma Frost, a Sue Storm, a She-Hulk, a someone with just full gravitas in a comic book movie, because she's so captivating, so strong, so interesting, so smart, so Charlize Theron. And I loved her in this. So check it out. And Matthias Schoenaerts, I feel like more people should know. Matthias Schoenaerts is like... He's like European Tom Hardy. I know Tom Hardy's British, but like this guy's like European Tom Hardy. And I feel like he should be a bigger name. So check out The Old Guard. That is my number 11. After I do number 10 here, we're going to click over to the Streamlabs to make sure I didn't miss anything. So my number 10 of my top 20 of 2020 is a B+ for Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey was, for me, a blast. It was kinetic. It was frenetic. It was other etics. I can't say enough about how much I loved Canary. I can't say enough about how much I loved Black Mask. Ewan McGregor stole my heart as far as villain roles ever. Like, that's one of my favorite villain performances of all time. Harley Quinn with the hyena. The hijinks, the feel of Gotham felt like a darker, more evolved Schumacher Gotham, which I'm saying as a compliment. I think they took the Schumacher insanity and they shook it up and they modernized it, and then they made Birds of Prey, and I loved it. You'll never see an egg sandwich the same way again. It's just a blast, and I really loved how much fun Ewan McGregor had. That guy is such a great actor, and to see him get to play like he got to play like Mulan Rouge Ewan McGregor by way of Train Spotting Ewan McGregor and shook it all up in Gotham and gave us this insanity, and I'm so happy that role exists. So Birds of Prey, great ensemble, great acting, fun storytelling, fun movie, highly recommend it, B+, and that is my number 10. All right, we're into the top 9 after I check the Streamlabs real quick. All right, Streamlabs a go. We are refreshing. We are drinking the bubbliest beer that is so freaking good. Again, microphone. This is like, it's vanilla and peanut butter. I didn't know beer like this happened. Damn. Full support. Thank you, Tavon. All right, let's go over to the Streamlabs that is just refreshed. We left off with Dan V, who said, let's see, I loved 5 of the 9 episodes of Watchmen, but it should have been 10 episodes, not 9. It was really badly structured to have Looking Glass gone for 3 eps. It committed to cardinal writing sin of telling, not showing, with Looking Glass gone that long and then appearing. All right, I respect this take. I do agree, Looking Glass being gone that long, I definitely noticed, and that's always dangerous. He also has this to say, I will say that the best DC ongoing series is probably Hellblazer. Dude, Hellblazer is incredible. It's always the top. Like, every week when I do my poll, Hellblazer is like what I'm telling people to buy. The language in Hellblazer, the art in Hellblazer, you can smell Hellblazer. It's depraved and glorious. Totally agree with you there. I will say the best DC ongoing series is probably Hellblazer, when anyone can pick up the last 2 issues. It is a big week with Strange Adventures, Deceased Dead Planet, Injustice Year Zero, and Batman. The less said about Death Metal, the better. So we're going to be doing my pull list at the end of this episode, as always. We do the pull list at the end, and you hit a bunch of my polls. Good, I mean, this is biased because I'm saying my taste is good, but good taste, because I agree with it. Selfishly, I completely agree with your list. I'm checking out Death Metal because I'm a Snyder fan. I'm not vibing with it as much as I want to be, I'm not going to lie to you. I like Scott Snyder's Court of Owls flavored Batman much more than Death Metal. I keep trying to like Death Metal, so I'm not disagreeing with you, but it's on my list because I keep trying. But that said, Hellblazer is perfect. Strange Adventures is blowing my mind. This was my most anticipated of the year, and it's living up to it. And I love James Tynion's Batman. We'll get to comics at the end, but thank you for the Streamlabs, Dan V. Next up, we got James. James saying, Coy, mate. I apologize in advance for my Australian accent. I just realized I said mate like an American doing an Australian accent. Coy, mate. Setup is looking good. Missed having a stream last week, but enjoyed the unboxing. Hope you're doing all right and staying safe. Reading Empire currently and wonder how essential the tie-ins are. Great question, James, and thank you. I thought the unboxing kind of was a good stand-in for the not doing a live show. I missed you guys. I missed doing a live show. That was fun, and it was necessary, and I needed the week to unpack, so I appreciate you guys being here today. And we got a good amount of people in here today for a late show, so I'm very appreciative of y'all being here. The unboxing was a blast. I love my life-size Wade Wilson. What an insane thing. Sideshow. Mwah. That said, I'm reading Empire, and I am not loving it. The tie-ins are fun, but they don't seem essential. The Captain America tie-in I think is my favorite so far. I'm going to be going through my top 9 of last week at the end of the episode, and I think one of the Empires might make it, but so far it just feels like an event for the sake of an event. I'm a lot more excited for Strange Adventures, Batman. I'm a lot more excited for the King in Black that Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman are doing at Marvel at the end of the year. And this ties in. Empire's going to lead into the King in Black, so I'm looking forward to that summer event, Christmas event. But Empire hasn't really locked me in yet, so we will see, but I'm reading it. The tie-ins don't seem mandatory to answer your question, but we will see. And hell yeah, I think you're saying Australia, because I see an A and you said mate, so I'm going to tie those 2 things to Australia. So hell yeah for being an Aussie comic fan. When I was there, it was so hard to find comic books. So good on ya for hunting down comic books in Australia. Hell yeah. All right, last of the Streamlabs before I go back and do my top 9. Also, in the comments, let me know if you guys like this format of show. I'm loving doing a top list. I'm loving doing like more opinion-based stuff instead of just giving you guys news. So if you're digging this format, let me know. I was experimenting with Season 2, Episode 1, mixing it up a little bit. All right, Dan V is back. Dan V says, then I still say that Chip Zdarsky should have won the Best Writer Eisner, and Spider-Man Life Story was wrongly not nominated for an Eisner. That his Daredevil run is great. Then Plunge, Once and Future, and Something is Killing the Children are also great. Dude, excellent taste. Chip Zdarsky is my guy. I highly recommend anyone that doesn't read comics, check out Chip Zdarsky, and then anyone that does read comics, check out lots of Chip Zdarsky. He's very accessible. His characters are brilliant. The way he writes them all is so just, you can consume his books and instantly love the characters and want to read more. He's a very great gateway comic writer. And I love how he reinvents so many characters. Chip Zdarsky's brilliant. And James Tynion, Something is Killing the Children, is so depraved and weird and also very accessible in a very, I don't like comic books, but I like this sort of way. It's one of the books I recommend to people that think they don't like comics. And Spider-Man Life Story is one of my favorite Elseworlds in years. So again, great taste. It's my taste, so I feel like a dick saying it, but I agree with you 100%. All right, over to the top list. My top 9 of 2020. Top 9. We did 10 through 20. Top 9. All right. Number 9, Boss Level. This one's tricky because not a lot of people have seen it. It is an A- because the movie's not out yet. A- was just because I feel like it's so close to being my exact shit, and I can't actually put my finger on it, so it gets in the A category, but an A- just because there were moments I was like, I'm a little out, but I'm back in. It's action like crazy. The acting is so much fun in that this movie knows it is that. I love 80s action that just knows it's being made to be enjoyed. I love movies that build their own canon and play with them and stretch your belief to the exact right level. I'm a huge Frank Grillo fan. It stars Frank Grillo as the lead guy, and it's effectively... It's not even out yet. There's no trailer. It's a movie where a guy is trapped and he is able to learn a lot because of his circumstances, and that leads to him being a better and better fighter. And the fight choreography is very inspired by the plot and by Frank Grillo playing the character, because Frank Grillo is actually a martial art master. Frank Grillo travels around the world learning martial arts from different cultures. He's got a great show on Netflix about fighting. Highly recommend. Look up Frank Grillo on Netflix. Look at all the stuff he does. He's in Wheelman, which is one of my favorite action thrillers of the last 10 years. He plays Crossbones, which is where you guys might know him from. And I just have a lot of respect for Frank Grillo as a man. He plays the coach in Warrior, and that's when you meet Frank Grillo, he's that. He's coach. He's a wise sensei of a man. He's got a lot of that martial arts gravitas with he listens and he's engaged, and his performances show that. And Mel Gibson's the bad guy, and I know I shouldn't like Mel Gibson movies, but I do. I'm a Mel Gibson fan as an actor. I like Mel Gibson's acting, not his personal choices. And I love seeing Frank Grillo v. Mel Gibson. And this movie was a blast for me. It's made for me. It's my exact kind of shit. Directed by Joe Carnahan, so you know the directing is insane. I don't know what's going on with its release. I can say this, screw it. We were going to do promotion. I was going to help. We were going to do an episode with Frank. Comic book shopping. We're trying to make it happen. But when the world's safe again, hopefully we get more release dates for stuff like this movie, because it should be seen in theaters. Boss Level is so freaking good. Highly recommend it whenever you get any access to it, and a lot of love for Frank Grillo. Dude is just as rad as he seems in movies and stuff, and just as he's a coach, man, and he just knows his shit. I'm about to start Kingdom, which also stars another of my favorite actors, Jonathan Tucker. So Jonathan Tucker and Frank Grillo in an MMA show. I've been saving the show for a rainy day, and I feel like quarantine is about as rainy as it gets. So when I finish West Wing, I'm replacing West Wing with Kingdom for my hour-long stuff, and Community, which was my other rainy day show, I'm replacing with The Good Place. So I'll be doing Kingdom and The Good Place as my next foray. Probably October, because I've got 2 seasons of West Wing left and 3 seasons of Community left. And I started them both at the beginning of quarantine. I just don't watch stuff quickly because I'm always working. So that is my number 9. Next up, number 8. I included TV, and I included stage plays, and I included stand-up comedy. This is the first of the TV. Number 8 for my top 20 of 2020 is a television show, and it is High Fidelity. High Fidelity on Hulu blew me away. High Fidelity is... I liked it better than the movie, and the movie has such a cult following. The movie is regarded where it should be. It's a cult classic. It's a blast. The show improved upon it because all the weaknesses of the movie were solved. You had more time with the characters. They adapted it better because you don't love characters enough in the movie unless you love the movie for their choices to work. And in the show, you get time to live with them and you love them deeper. And Zoe Kravitz is delightful. Please put Zoe Kravitz in everything. I love the new characters. I love the woman they cast in the Jack Black role. She is brilliant and inspired and plays that Jack Black type better. Jack Black, I love Jack Black, but I love spending episodes with this Jack Black character. It is delightful, and I've thought about it almost once a week since I watched it, and I watched it in March, and that doesn't happen with a lot of television for me. So High Fidelity shocked me. I listen to the soundtrack all the time. I thought the pacing was brilliant. I thought it was funny. It made me fall madly in love with Zoe Kravitz. Don't tell her. And it really is just what I want out of television. It be memorable. It improve on source material. It be a long game. It invest me in its characters. Strong A, hardcore A, high fidelity. High fidelity is an A. It is my number 8 of the year. My next up, my number 7 of the year, another A, is another show, and it is a season 1 of a show that I hope runs for decades. A decade. I hope we get 10 years of this. And that is Dave. Lil Dicky changed TV. Lil Dicky changed hip-hop in a weird way about 6 years ago. He released a mixtape that featured things like a Lion King rap, like a classic male pregame. He raps about sports in possibly interesting ways. I'm not even a sports guy, but I'm invested in his sports rap. Classic male pregame is exactly what I went through all of my pre-college and college career. And Save Dat Money is his single, and he literally makes a music video about saving money making a music video, and it's inspired in its meta-ness. But while he's brilliantly funny, he's also an incredible writer and an incredible rapper. He's actually got skill and bars and talent, and he laughs about how he is while showing this talent. And it's really hard to navigate, because this all sounds super cliche, but he knows what he appears like, and he's still able to consciously diffuse your aggression towards his ness and then be an incredible MC. And it's incredible. And the show is able to navigate the difficulty of all of that while being a less problematic American Pie skewing humor. I don't know how they did it. Dave is reinventing perversion. It is endearing you to characters that are nigh unlikable. It has an incredible hip-hop flavor. It is the right use of long form in that it flows really well. And I lost my mind laughing every single week. I love Dave. Dave is a strong A. It is on FX. It pushes a lot of boundaries, and it is near perfect TV. Dave's an A, and Dave is my number 7 of the year. Dave, highly recommend it. My number 6 of the year, we're almost to our top 5. After this, I'm going to click back over the Streamlabs. Number 6 is a stand-up special. I've watched a good amount of stand-up this year. I love stand-up comedy, and I think that it is so necessary in these times, and it's one of the things I'm worried about losing most, because it's tricky in the world. It's tricky in the climate with COVID. It's tricky in how we communicate. And I watched a recent special, and it was Jim Jeffries, and I felt like Jim Jeffries had restructured who he was in an interesting way, and I don't know how I feel about that special. So I'm not talking about that special. I'm talking about a show that restructured stand-up in a way that I think is arguably the most important bit of commentary that we could have right now. And it was heartbreaking, and it was important, and it was funny in the darkest ways, and it wasn't funny in dark ways like Anthony Jeselnik. It was funny in dark ways in that you laugh because you're hurting. And that's Dave Chappelle's 846. Dave Chappelle's 846 is about what's happening right now. It's about the world. It's about this movement. It's about Black Lives Matter. It's about the civil rights movement not really ending, or shouldn't have. It's about being black in America and how it's not what we were taught, or me. It's really powerful and really important, and it's also brutally funny, like blisteringly funny, while being a man speaking on stage pouring his heart out. There's nothing like Dave Chappelle's 846, so it's hard to compare it to anything, but it's life-changing, it's really important, and I think you should watch it. So, check out Dave Chappelle's 846, highly recommend it. It is my number 6 of the year. Let's go to Streamlabs. All right, Streamlabs, just making sure I didn't miss anything, because that would be me not doing my job. It is refreshing. We've got, let's see, we got some loading, and then we're gonna do our top 5. My top 5 of 2020 is coming at you as soon as this loads. Okay, we got Dan V. I agree with you on Empire. The only Marvel event that truly felt built to since Hickman's Secret Wars was War of the Realms. Dude, I love War of the Realms. War of the Realms really shocked me. The tie-ins were great. The story itself was great. I'm not even like a mythology, cosmic side of Marvel guy, and War of the Realms got me. Completely agree with you. Dan V. Same page. My problem with War of the Realms is that it was fun, but lacked depth until its last issue. I love Secret Wars, which delivered. I felt like there was some depth, but I felt like they had to play up the levity because of how dark it went at the end, but I see where you're coming from. I actually liked it a lot more than I expected, so I have this fond, strong yes about that series. I haven't reread it since, but I remember thinking, like, I'm impressed with every tie-in, every issue, and I was super surprised. So much love for War of the Realms, and of course, much love for Secret Wars, which is the bar on events. What other events have I liked? That's another question for another show, because I should look at that before I just errantly decide. But yeah, summer events are really tricky. I usually tend to like the mainstream issues more than the summer events, but I completely agree with War of the Realms. All right, over to top 5. All right, so we've done all of 6 through 20. I'll read those back at the end, but let's do number 5. Number 5, my number 5 favorite bit of content I have consumed in the year 2020. Extraction. Extraction is a Netflix original movie that does not look like a Netflix original movie, that does not feel like a Netflix original movie, that does not look like it's constrained by any sort of budget. It is a blockbuster, and it is insane, and it is why you should let capable stunt people navigate sets more. Sam Hargrave is the stunt guy for the Russo brothers. He is the man on many Marvel sets. He is the man on many stunt sets. He's a stunt coordinator, and this was his directorial debut, and it was everything you wanted it to be and more. It is Chris Hemsworth getting to be he's a Riggs archetype, which I really dig. He's a merc on the edge. He's like the evolution of a cop on the edge. He's a merc on the edge. And the whole movie is just balls to the wall action, but you care so much about the actual leads, the action matters. But it's also reinventing the wheel on action. The way the camera navigates, the way the stunts play, the actual physicality of the stunts is so apparent, and the editing follows through. I actually like this more than John Wick 2 or 3. I'm that rare person that likes John Wick 1 the most, then 2, then 3. This to me lands right between John Wick 1 and 2. It is that kind of caliber action, and it's Netflix, so it shows a great precedent for what we can get out of these Netflix original movies. And I want Sam Hargrave to direct a Marvel movie now so badly. He has great shorthand with Chris Hemsworth because they worked together before. He's able to tell a very linear story in a very exciting way. He's able to make something that should be cliche and cheesy not. Produced by Agbo, the Russo brothers production company, directed by Sam Hargrave, starring Chris Hemsworth, also has David Harbour in there in a great performance. This movie is so freaking good. Highly recommend Extraction. Please check it out. So good. It's also the #1 Netflix movie of all time, I think, to date. All right, number 4. This movie is too topical. This movie is about the 60s leading into the 70s, and it shouldn't be as topical as it is today. It is about a French new wave actress who starts to make a little noise in America, and then she wants to actually change things. She wants to actually do something with that celebrity. She wants to actually cause change, and realizes she can do that through the Black Panther movement and befriends one of the Black Panther leaders, and they have an affair, and the FBI starts spying on her, and everyone thinks she's crazy, and then her life is a mess. This movie is about Gene Seberg. I hope that's all in the trailer. I was gonna say if it's not a spoiler, but it happened in real life, and that's all in the trailer. And there's way more movie than that. Anthony Mackie is so good in this movie, but nothing compared to the insanely talented Kristen Stewart. I've been defending Kristen Stewart for years. I feel like I'm also defending Robert Pattinson for years. Any of the Twilight people not in Twilight, there's so much more to them. But Kristen Stewart is such an incredible actress, and Seberg, she gets to show all of that in a very topical, very important movie. She gets to show so much range. She gets to be the thing your eyes can't look away from on screen. This is one of those movies I didn't pick up my phone once, and it's a drama about race relations and spying and political intrigue and celebrity, and it's all in the writing and the acting. It's not a pizzazz movie. It's all in the writing and the acting, and this movie had me for 2 hours fully captivated. Seberg is my number 4 of the year. It is an A. It is on Amazon. It's an Amazon studio film, and Kristen Stewart. If you doubt Kristen Stewart, watch Seberg, and then let me know if you still doubt. I disagree, but I think Seberg is her look at world, look what I do. And I was just so impressed. So Seberg's my number 4 of the year. It is over on Amazon. Highly recommend it. I was blown away. All right, my number 3, which is the thing, the property, the item that changed this entire structure from any year before. Also, there's not been enough movies to make a top of anything, but my number 3 is a play, and that is, of course, I'm talking about a play, Hamilton. Hamilton, how did it live up to the expectation of being Hamilton? All I heard about was Hamilton for 4 years-ish, and I was like, there's no way to have this be as good as I've heard, especially when you're filming a play. If you've ever watched a filmed play, come on. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, it's never gonna feel like it did, and if that's how it felt watching it from recording, I can't imagine being in that room. Like, I'm not gonna miss my shot is my shit, and the feeling like time's running out and wanting to create and do more, all of that registers to an insane level. I'm a giant Daveed Diggs fan, so seeing Daveed Diggs as both Thomas Jefferson and Lafayette was everything, and it's a hip-hop musical about American history that makes it relevant and interesting and teaches and educates. I love when things can be educational in the direct sense and the metaphorical sense. Obviously the messages and the morals and everything in the movie are so important, but it also educates you. Obviously Hamilton, not a great guy. A lot of people know that, but the movie has to navigate that. But if you take the time to look into history because of a play, especially one like that, then that play's done its job, in my opinion. And it teaches you a lot of good morals and life lessons. Loved Hamilton. Music is infectious. The acting is incredible. The directing of a play on screen and landing it that well, holy shit. Disney Plus, that is a huge home run. I give Hamilton a strong A. It is my number 3 of the year. Highly recommend if you haven't seen Hamilton. It lives up to the hype. It's also 4 hours, and it was great to have like a thing that was just all-consuming for that long in quarantine that felt like I was being a part of history. It was like a piece of pop culture that's so relevant to me. So I loved Hamilton. Me and my friends from Boston actually all watched it as a group. We did a Zoom call and all like experienced Hamilton together, and that was a blast. So Hamilton, my number 3 of the year. Number 2 just came out. Number 2 is a July release. Dramatic pause. Palm Springs. I love Palm Springs. Holy crap, that I love Palm Springs. Palm Springs had me laughing. Okay, Palm Springs is like an hour and 40 minutes. It took me 2 hours to get through because I kept rewinding over jokes that I had laughed over. And I love when that happens. There's a sweet spot in humor where I just get on a roll and I can't hang, and Palm Springs hit me. It's also a great love story. It's instantly endearing. The visuals are lovely. You'll see what I mean once you watch the movie. There's some third act visuals I would not have expected that were fantastic. It has a sneaky, I didn't know J.K. Simmons was in it. J.K. Simmons is so good in this movie. Andy Samberg, incredible. The girl, Melissa, didn't write down her name. I apologize to this actress who had me fall in love with her in like 5 scenes. She's from How I Met Your Mother and Wolf of Wall Street. Anyway, she's endearing and impossibly wonderful and captivating and interesting and charming. This movie is so good. And it's a love story that's very original. It's a high concept comedy. It surprised the hell out of me because I expected to like it. I didn't expect to like watch it practically 1.5 times because I lost my line laughing about it. Like, it's just so freaking good. Check out Palm Springs. It's the heartwarming piece of cinema I needed in this madness. It definitely is a high up because of like what kind of movie I needed. In quarantine, there's nothing I recommend more than Palm Springs. It's not my number 1 because the next number 1 is, well, it's next. But like, even that movie isn't a quarantine movie. This is just like, it's so nice to watch right now when everything feels so awful, when you're doubting humanity, when you don't feel good about the way things are going. Palm Springs is the answer. It's the medicine. So highly recommend Palm Springs. Andy Samberg, thank you for that movie. And it's so good and inventive and weird and my shit. Okay, the number 1 movie of 2020 for this guy, Coy Cubed. This show is Coy Cubed. This guy, Coy-Jandreau. Coy-Jandreau's favorite movie, or property, from 2020 so far, is a movie from one of my favorite directors. It stars many of my favorite actors. It has cutscenes about basically mixed martial art fighting hip-hop kids that are underprivileged, that are using the nature of martial arts to hone their betterment. It is about crime, which I enjoy crime films. And it is stylistically unlike anything else the director has made, while being exactly like everything the director has made, but it felt like a fuck you to people that think the director only makes one kind of movies, and that is, of course, The Gentleman is my exact shit. I love Suits. I love crime. I love, that's gonna be cut out and used against me somewhere. I love crime. I love movies that are able to put you in a world so completely, so immersively that you are completely indebted into what character choice happens next, and this movie did that with so many characters. I love this film. Colin Farrell as Coach is, I think, my spirit animal in some way. I want to be someone that helps underprivileged kids better themselves through wearing awesome tracksuits and learning martial arts, and then they sometimes run off and make fight porn with awesome tracks. It's my shit. Charlie Hunnam is one of my favorite actors working, and I've never seen Sons of Anarchy. I need to, because like now I love the dude's acting, but like after King Arthur, I started watching a ton of his stuff, and Charlie Hunnam is brilliant. I just watched Triple Frontier, but he's great. He's so good in this. Matthew McConaughey playing against type, bit of a dick, but fascinating, and you completely get the character and you want to understand. Henry Golding, man, he's only been in like 5 things. His IMDb is 6 credits, and one of them Snake Eyes, which isn't out yet. Henry Golding is incredible in this film. I already mentioned Colin Farrell's coach, but it needs to be mentioned again. This movie is so my shit, and it shows people that Guy Ritchie doesn't have to be fast. It's a very slow-paced film, but it's all of the energy, but at a slower pace. I feel like people think of Guy Ritchie as just Snatch and just Lock, Stock. It has all of the heart of Snatch and Lock, Stock, but at a different flavor, and I loved it. And Hugh Grant playing against type is fascinating to watch. He's just monologuing the whole film, and he's so good as this asshole. I love this movie. It is my number 1 of the year. It is an A, bordering on A+. I've only ever given 16 A+s in the history of me rating films. If you follow me on Letterboxd, that's an app about rating movies. It's 1 through 5 stars, 0 through 5 stars, and it's brilliant. You've got like movie release dates. You can sort by what you've watched, what you haven't. Anyway, Letterboxd is great. I've only given 16 5 stars. I've only given 16 A+s. The Gentleman, I think, might be in there. The Gentleman blew me away. I love this film. I love the pace. I love the music. I love the acting. I love the story. I love the feel. I love how you felt walking out of it. The Gentleman is my number 1 movie of the year. Couldn't have enjoyed the experience more. Watched it 3 times, twice in theaters, once at home. The Gentleman is my shit. I need to own it. I need to buy The Gentleman. I'm gonna go buy The Gentleman next month. It's my birthday next month. I'm gonna ask for The Gentleman. Guys, that is my top 20 of 2020. I hope you enjoyed this format. I really had fun playing with it. If you guys liked this, let me know. I'll do like every so often, like maybe once every couple months, we'll do like top 10 of this director, and I'll count down the director. Top 10 of this genre, and I'll do that. Like, I like lists, and I think this was fun. So if you guys like that format, let me know. It's something I can put into the show, play around with it, because this was a blast to mix it up. I'm gonna now go into my streaming recs and my comic book pull list after I check the Streamlabs. But I hope you guys had fun. It was great to talk about some of my favorites from this year. Again, next year, hopefully we have movie theaters back, hopefully. And then in July, I'll do my top like I normally do, but this year we had to get creative. COVID times. All right. Streamlabs ahoy. Smack Talks the fuck across town. I made it Boston for Smack Talk. Smack Talks the fuck across town, kid. Smack Talk, as ever, thank you. Thank you for the Streamlabs. Thank you. Hey Coy, the new place looks great and air conditioned. You notice it's way less shiny in here. I'm much happier in the space, and there's a life-size Wade. Yeah, I love my new place. Thank you, man. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna break the fourth wall. Because of this incredible, incredible Streamlabs, I'm gonna break the fourth wall. Check out. I got my Blu-rays up, and I got this art wall done. So, those walls have already done. This one is left. But, because of the compliment on the place and because of Smack Talk, I wanted to show some love for the other wall that is done. Okay, back to canon. Hey Coy, the new place looks great and air-conditioned. I don't know if you've thought about having guests outside of TV Squared, but I thoroughly enjoyed the way they play off of other people's energies. I also enjoy every second of everything you said about High Fidelity. Thank you, man. One thing for the compliment, I like what I do for a living because I like the exchange. I'm a narcissist through and through. I enjoy talking about myself, about my taste, about my shit. I shamelessly, I like being a solo act on shows, but I like the interview part more than even that. Like, the ideal situation is I want a talk show. I want to have my segments, I want to go through stuff and then have a conversation. That's why I want to do a talk show so badly. So yes, I want more interviews, I want more conversations. The reason I love what I do is because I like learning from people. You can't learn from yourself if you're just talking to yourself. Eventually you run out of things to say to yourself. So I like growing from knowing other people. So yes, absolutely. Once it's safe, I want guests. One of the reasons I moved here is because it's really centrally located and my couch, I can have guests here. And once this setup's all done, like I very much intend, once it's safe, to have guests. Jenny Newman and I are actually doing another episode of Craft Beer and Comic Books and craft beer, whichever direction I'm gonna decide it goes. I think comic books first. Comic books and craft beer. on Sunday. So Jenny's coming back over. Jenny and I are still getting tested for COVID constantly, so Jenny and I are good to go. So she's going to be a guest. I'm keeping it just to my pod for now, but I might have other people that I've been interacting with that keep testing on as well, because I most of my friends are in entertainment. Most of my friends have things to say. Most of my friends at least know of comic books, and it'd be a lot of fun. And I don't know StreamYard that well. I need to learn. I also need to learn how to set up I've got a camera and this Diva light and a microphone, and I've been using my phone. I need to learn how to interact with that, because once I have better quality, I want to have guests on digitally. So I definitely want to talk. I might have Mark Ellis on. I want those things to happen. So yes, that is the plan. It hasn't happened yet because of moving and COVID and all those things, but I certainly intend to have this be more than just me long term. So great question. Short answer, yes. Long answer, that 5-minute diatribe. So thank you very much, as ever, Smack Talk. It means the world. All this help, and the Streamlabs are fantastic. And the names. I always love the names. Okay, Smack Talk, putting in work. All right, let's go back to the movies of the year are done. Pull lists. Okay, favorite comics from last week. Favorite comics from last week are 7/29, July 29th, last week. You can pick these up right now. Amazing Spider-Man 45. Love that book. Archie 713, fallen madly in love with Archie comics, especially the Archie run that's happening. This last run and the current run are my two faves in a long time. John Constantine Hellblazer number 8, as Dan V and I have discussed in the Streamlabs, Hellblazer is chef's kiss-tastic. All right, John Constantine, Hellblazer number 8. Kill Lock number 6, the final issue of Kill Lock from IDW. This is a story about robots that have been branded with the Kill Lock, which is like a kill order, the end of these robots' lives, and it's about them banding together, and it's more human than most books with humans, and it's about robots. It's like what I want Transformers to be, and it's from IDW, who does Transformers. The art is great, the writing's fantastic, same guy. Check out Kill Lock. It is now done, miniseries, 6 issues. Next up, we got Plunge number 5. Big fan of this Hill House run, big fan of the Hill House comics. Joe Hill is doing a great job making horror comics accessible. I'm not a big horror guy, but he is making Hill House sing, and Plunge is a fantastic book. Mike Diodato Jr. is on art. It's a book about math. It's a book about scavenging. It's a book about zombies, kinda. It is fascinating and terrifying, and Plunge is real good. Suicide Squad, number 7. Tom Taylor. What is there to say about Tom Taylor that hasn't been said? He's got heart. He's got comedy chops. He's real good at writing characters in different ways than you'd expect. Tom Taylor he writes a mean comic book, and he's writing Suicide Squad up to the strength of his abilities. Big fan of Tom Taylor's writing, and his Suicide Squad is great. This is a Deadshot-centric issue, so if you're a fan of Deadshot, this issue is so your cup of tea. Highly recommend. Jump on Suicide Squad right here with number 7, and then see if you want to go back. Deadshot issue, highly recommend it. Number 7. Wonder Woman 759. I have tried many times to get into Wonder Woman and usually fallen off. There's a lot of mythology. There's a lot of character development that I've missed out on. It's a character that I find, personally, Coy, hard to just dive into. It's not a comic that I can just pick up a Wonder Woman and go like, oh. This is the opposite. This is a great gateway issue. It's a new creative team. It's exactly my shit. The art is beautiful. Mariko Tamaki is writing it, and she is a fantastic writer. I am loving this Wonder Woman arc. That's only one issue in. And it's Max Lord as the villain, so I think it's going to kind of set us up for the Wonder Woman movie. So Wonder Woman 759 might as well be an issue 1. So pretend it's an issue 1. It's super accessible. Wonder Woman 759. If you want to check out a Wonder Woman book, highly recommend. Next up, we have a real number 1, X Factor number 1, a new X book post Hoxpox. X Factor numero uno, a very fun detective book about a murder. Before they can revive a mutant using the Krakoan powers of revival, they have to find her, and this is a detective story from X Factor. The X Factor team is a lot of fun. I like the team they've assembled. I like the writing. This book's a good time. And finally, my final pull from last week is X-Men number 10. This is a Jonathan Hickman book in the world of post-Hoxpox Jonathan Hickman. It is the main X-Men title. It is always weird and always a good time. X-Men number 10. Okay. I recommend this week a lot of books. I'm very excited for this week in comic books. These are the comics coming out tomorrow, August 5th, 2020. The comic books I recommend for tomorrow. Ant-Man number 4, finally in print. I'm just going to read fast. So if you want to bring this to your comic store and just slow it down and tell them these books, and they'll be like, who is this psychopath? And you'll be like, I don't know. I just found this. I'm sorry. These are the books that I recommend. Ant-Man number 4, Batman number 96, Black Cat number 12, Captain America. Actually, you know what? If I just read them, you don't know what they are. That's not fair. If the show's over an hour, I've already broken my should keep it under an hour rule. Let's dance. Okay. Ant-Man number 4, in print. This is a Zeb Wells run that was going to be digital only to finish out the run. They decided, no, people want it in print. Let's give it to them in print. This run's been weird. This run's been funny. This run is great. Ant-Man number 4, it's only 5 issues. Check it out. Batman number 96. James Tynion IV is writing The War of the Joker, where basically the Joker gets all of Batman's money and he is running Gotham with billions of dollars, and it's just as insane as you think it sounds. Check out Batman from James Tynion IV. You're only like 4 issues behind. This is number 96. I think he got on at 93, 94. He's not deep into his run. Black Cat number 12, my surprise title of 2019, continues to be great. Jed MacKay writes the hell out of Black Cat. She's such an interesting character, and she doesn't get enough time to be interesting. This character is deserving of a title, and this title is deserving of her. Definitely recommend Black Cat. This is an Iron Man-centric issue. I'm very intrigued. One of the best issues in here was like issue 5. It was her and Batroc the Leaper out to dinner, and it's like a bottle episode that's great. This episode brought to you by the term bottle episode. Okay, Captain America 21. Kind of neutral on Captain America right now. This issue is like, it's okay. This run is okay, but I'm thinking it's going to get... I think it's going to tie into Empire in a way, and I think Captain America always has the chance to be better, so I'm always going to try it. But Captain America, one of the lower ones on my pull list. Coffin Bound number 5. This book is weird. It's an Image title that is written like Hunter S. Thompson met Ernest Hemingway in the desert, and they had like an ether absinthe off, and it's just shit happens, and it's like an old Western tale, and the writing is very like abstract and strange, and I dig it. It's my kind of shit, but it's a weird book. Deceased Dead Planet number 2, continuing on the Tom Taylor hype train. Tom Taylor writes the hell out of zombie books, and Deceased is no exception. Check out this book. Deceased sold out tons, so they gave it another title, Dead Planet, only on issue 2. Next up, Deadpool number 6. Deadpool is going to invade Krakoa, I hear. I don't have the issue yet, but I hear that's what happens. And this is from Kelly Thompson. I love Kelly Thompson's writing. She is so good at endearing you to characters so quickly. Her first arc didn't capture me till issue 3, I'm not going to lie. First 2 issues, I was like, 3, 4, and 5, sing. And 6, I think it's going to be even better. Kelly Thompson, I love her work. I like her Deadpool. I'm really excited to love her Deadpool. We're getting there with issue 6, and that's just my personal opinion. Death Metal Legends of the Dark Knights. Again, we talked about death metal earlier. It's not my thing. I keep trying. It's very popular. I'm a big fan of Scott Snyder. I respect his psychology. I respect how he sees his characters. I'm going to try it out. We will see what happens. Doctor Strange number 6. The Sorcerer Supreme is now the Surgeon General Sorcerer Supreme. Not Surgeon General. Surgeon Supreme. Because he has both his hands back and he's still the Sorcerer Supreme. So he can do both magic and surgery. So he's a surgeon by day, magic man by night. And it's really cool to see him have all the responsibilities. Mark Waid's writing this. It's a really good run. It's the most I've liked Doctor Strange in a little bit. 2 years ago was this great Doctor Strange run. The last 2 years have been on and off. This run, solid. Okay. Empire number 4. Let's lump these all together. Empire number 4 and X-Men Empire number 2. Empire is the big summer event for Marvel. It's okay. It's very cosmic. It feels very surface. We're going to see what happens, but I got to include it in the list. Fantastic Four number 22. This is some of my favorite Dan Slott stuff. I'm really loving his Fantastic Four. I like Dan Slott, the writer. Didn't love him on Spider-Man. I'm loving him in Fantastic Four. Highly recommend this run. Far Sector number 7 is probably my number 2 pull of the week. Strange Adventures is number 1. Far Sector is about a Green Lantern who's doing her job on a very off planet, and it feels like life on the street. It feels like Law and Order. Like, it's got a very cool crime beat vibe, and it's also the most topical book out right now. It's about this alien race that's trying to control their people by basically taking away their emotions and keeping them oppressed, and it feels like a lot of the commentary in the world right now. But you're watching the Space Cops, the Green Lantern Corps, one of them deal with the ramifications of the situation. It's a really good book. Far Sector, highly recommended, only on issue number 7. Firepower number 1. I know nothing about it. It's a new number 1. It's from a writer I dig. I forget the name of the writer right now. And it's a number 1 from Image, so I'm going to be checking it out. Hold on. A lot of comics this week. Giant Size X-Men Phantom X. I like Phantom X. I think he's a really interesting character. Giant Size X-Men, always a good adventure. Giant Size X-Men Phantom X number 1. I'm going to pick it up. I'm in. Guardians of the Galaxy number 5. Guardians of the Galaxy from Al Ewing. I'm digging actually more than Donny Cates' run. You guys know I love Donny Cates. You know, I think he's a great writer. I think Guardians is Al Ewing's bag. These characters are really interesting through Al Ewing's eyes. I'm digging this run a lot. Marvel's Spider-Man Black Cat Strikes number 4. This is the Black Cat from the Spider-Man game. So Marvel's Spider-Man makes it the video game universe. Black Cat Strikes Back is her title in that universe. And Black Cat needs more love, and this is giving her that. Once again, it's a character that needs to have an incredible team behind her because she deserves more screen time. And I think this is leading us to Silver and Black, the movie that we're inevitably getting, hopefully from Gina Blythe Pricewood? How do you say her name? I think that's Blythe Pricewood? I forget. It's one of those Sorry, Gina. I love your work. Old Guard's incredible. I can't wait for your Black and Silver. Okay, next up, Sex Criminals number 30, the penultimate issue. Basically the finale of Sex Criminals, and then I think there's one more issue after this that's going to be like them smoking. Sex Criminals is about these people that find out when they orgasm, they can stop time, so they start robbing banks, and then they realize there are more people like them that have boning powers, and it's depraved, funny, perverse, my shit. Chip Zdarsky does art. You guys know I love Chip Zdarsky when he writes. He writes the fuck out of some art because he writes a lot of weird, he incorporates a lot of his humor into his visual style. There's so many Easter eggs that are visually just hilarious. Much love for Sex Criminals. My book of the week, Strange Adventures number 4. Number 2 blew me away. I liked 1 and 3, but number 2 was a Mr. Terrific-centric issue that is so powerful and interesting and smart. Mitch Gerard's on art, Doc Shaner on art, Tom King on words. This book is insane. It's about how perception is fallible, how when we look at our own reality, it's all relative. We can't trust our own opinion of our own experience. This book captures that feeling in a book, in a comic book. It's like you can't take a eyewitness report anymore because we're fallible as humans. This book captures that feeling. It's incredible. Check out Strange Adventures. I don't want to give anything away. Just read this book. Strike Force number 9. I think this is the last issue of Strike Force. I think Marvel canceled it. I don't know if they got one more after this or not, but it is a Blade-led team. It's like a mercenary team. It's kind of a cosmic and horror-based. It's fun. It's a fun book. Undiscovered Country number 7 is the Americas are basically closed and a giant Mad Maxian dystopian future awaits us. It's a very Mad Max themed book. It's by Charles Soule and Scott Snyder. Really weird time. I'm digging it. Final book of the week, Young Justice number 17. It is a Brian Michael Bendis Young Justice, so it's very wordy, very quippy, very fast-paced. It recently caught me. It took quite a few issues for me to get in, but it's Bendis, so I'll always give it the chance. 17, I'm going to check out. I'm curious how it goes. Okay, before I do my streaming recommendations, yes, there's more show. I'm going to check on the Streamlabs real quick. I hope you guys are still having fun while we're here on an extra long show. It's the season 2, episode 1. We got to dive in. We got to make it a thing. So this is probably going to be feature length. All right, let's see here. I think I caught all of the streams as they were popping in, but I want to make absolutely sure. Coy-Jandreau. Coy-Jandreau? There's an Coy-Jandreau? Hi, Dad. I time traveled back to 2020 to meet you when you were young. The past is lame. Why is everyone wearing masks? Coy-Jandreau, you scallywag. I don't know who this is, but I respect this gag. 2020 is a rough year to time travel to. I think that Back to the Future was wise in going like 55, 85, 2015. Like, you don't want to be here. So, future child, I assume, Alex, that your name is short for something because my name's Coy, and I like weird names, so I'm sure your name is like Alexander the Great Jandreau, but like one name. Like Alexander the Great Jandreau, or like Alexandro Jandreau. I'm sorry for doing that to you, son. Alexandro Jandreau is in the Streamlabs, and I hope you're doing well. 2020 is a bold choice, but everyone's wearing masks because we're trying to keep each other alive. And frankly, the air is poisoned because the breathing of some people causes other people to die, so we're trying to prevent that as much as possible. But Coy-Jandreau, it's not safe. Know that the people wearing masks are the heroes, and the people not wearing masks are the ones that don't care about you. So, like in Spider-Man, like anyone can wear the mask. It's not to protect Spider-Man, it's to protect Spider-Man's loved ones. So you're wearing the mask to make sure Aunt May is safe, and you're wearing masks to make sure that Uncle Ben would have been okay. He's protecting Mary Jane. So the mask is for others. So keep that in mind when you see people not wearing masks. That's why we're here in 2020. So, Alexandro Jandreau, it was a pleasure to meet you, my son from the future, or daughter. Alex is an either name, actually. Alexandro Jandreau could be a girl. Pleasure. Okay, let's jump to my streaming recommendations for the month. I'm currently reading Ultimate Spider-Man. I finished it. I read through 133. I'm now doing this cool thing where Marvel Fandom, the fandom site, has a Marvel section where they list in chronological order all of the Ultimate comics that you can read as they go through time. So I'm reading Ultimate Origin, into Ultimates, into Ultimate Electra Daredevil, and then I'm going to catch up to Ultimate Spider-Man. So I read 1 through 33 of Spider-Man. Now I'm reading up to Ultimate X-Men. And then once I catch up to Ultimate 133 of Spider-Man, I'm going to read them all in order. Like, I'm living the Ultimate Universe in chronological time, and it's amazing. So that's what I'm doing. Okay. Next up, I am reading, I just finished Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers. Malcolm Gladwell's a brilliant writer. I highly recommend this book. It shows you how much inherited traits matter. It shows you how much when you're born matters. It shows you that outliers are, there's a lot of pieces to that puzzle. It makes you want to work harder. This book is really inspiring while also being a fascinating look at humanity and how we judge things incorrectly and how there's so much more to what makes us up than we actually see. I don't know what my next nonfiction book is, but I always try to be reading one nonfiction book while I'm reading all these comics. So I don't know what my next book's going to be, but I might go Tipping Point. I might go a book on like Buddhism or something spiritual. I don't know what I'm gonna read yet, but that's my next journey. So I'm reading Ultimate Universe, and I'm reading current weekly books and soon a nonfiction book. Streaming recommendations. We're gonna go network by network. Netflix only got one for you guys. I try to narrow it down from all the stuff coming to stream for the week. So this is the week of August 4th through the 12th, roughly. August 10th, Nightcrawler is coming to Netflix. Nightcrawler, Jake Gyllenhaal, one of his best performances, which is saying a lot. Nightcrawler is inspired. It is he's so messed up and you can't look away. I think this is our generation's Taxi Driver. I love this performance. I love this movie. Rene Russo is incredible in it. Dan Gilroy directs the hell out of this movie. Nightcrawler is one of my favorite movies the last 10 years. Highly recommend it. August 10th, if you haven't seen it, Netflix, must watch. Over on Hulu on August 6th, a mere 2 days from now, on Thursday, they're getting the Peanut Butter Falcon. It's also coming to Amazon on August 6th. So Amazon, Hulu, Peanut Butter Falcon, one of my top 10 of last year. A very, very inspiring coming-of-age meets walkabout story about being a man, about growing up, about what our place is in this world. It's so good. It stars the girl from, 50 Shades of Grey. Dakota Johnson, Shia LaBeouf, and a new actor who actually has, I believe it's Down syndrome, and he's so good in this movie. And he presented at the Oscars with Shia this year, and you just fall in love with this kid, and I love him so much, and this movie is so important, and it shows humanity in a really new light. It's really great, and it's got this like Mark Twain flavor. Watch Peanut Butter Falcon. It's really good. Peanut Butter Falcon on Hulu and Amazon on August 6th. Capone comes to Amazon on August 10th. Capone is one of my most anticipated in 2020, even before there were no movies. Capone, I'm so excited about. Tom Hardy playing Al Capone. Josh Trank directing his first thing since Fantastic Four. He's only done Chronicle, Fantastic Four, and Al Capone. Very excited to see Tom Hardy in anything, much less a Al Capone movie. Very excited for this film coming to Amazon on August 10th. I'll also be reviewing that next week. Capone, expect a Capone review next week. All right, Disney Plus, one of the few Jake Gyllenhaal movies I haven't seen, Prince of Persia and the Sands of Time. It might be time to watch Prince of Persia and the Sands of Time on the 7th. This Friday, we get Prince of Persia. Fuck it. It's on Disney Plus. Next up, the Peanuts movie on the 7th. I've never seen the Peanuts movie. One of my nicknames growing up was Charlie Brown because my head was this size, but my body was that of a child because I was a child. So I just grew into my head, so they called me Charlie Brown. But I've never seen the Peanuts movie. So Disney Plus on the 7th. Finally, HBO Max with a trifecta of stuff I'm excited for. An American Pickle coming on Thursday. Probably going to review it. Either going to do that or a Coy-Lection video. Going to check the chat later. I'm very excited for An American Pickle. It is an Amblin-esque drama comedy from Seth Rogen. I've got friends that worked on it. I know the director. I love Seth Rogen. I'm a huge fan of Seth Rogen. I think he's so slept on. I think he's regarded as like an A, but he should be regarded as like an A+. He's one of the voices in producing and writing and comedy. And he's just so, his finger on the pulse is great, and the way he interacts with people in life is great. Like the way he handles the social media is really inspiring, and I just got a lot of love for Seth Rogen, so I'm really excited to check out his powerful An American Pickle. And then finally, Doom Patrol Season 2 finale is on the 6th. I have not caught up on Doom Patrol, but I know a lot of people are very excited, so I wanted to give it some love. On the 6th, Doom Patrol Season 2 finale. And then finally, Richard Jewell on the 8th, I'm very excited for because it's got Sam Rockwell in it. I'm a big Sam Rockwell fan. So on the 8th on HBO Max, Richard Jewell. Those are my streaming recommendations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 things I recommend you watch this week. I'm going to try to check out Capone and then keep reading stuff, keep talking to you guys about stuff. I'm going to quickly jump in to the Streamlabs, make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. Guys, this has been really fun. I've enjoyed our Season 2, Episode 1. This is a good start to the season. I feel good about it. The set's only going to grow, and I feel like you guys are going to see me in multiple locations this season. Probably going to do some stuff in front of the Blu-ray, probably some stuff over there. Comic Books and Craft Beer is going to be in the Breakfast Nook where you guys saw my Deadpool unboxing. So this location, my new home, has sets, which makes me very happy. So we can do a lot more playing around. All right, the last message was from Coy-Jandreau, my estranged son or daughter, and that is as good a place to end it as any. Michael McCarcel says that Doom Patrol is too good, and I trust his opinion because he's only shown me quality content we've talked in the past. Look at that internet! My stuff looks way better here. Oh, thank you, new apartment. Thank you, new internet. I am very happy with this stream. Guys, this has been an absolute pleasure. I have missed you all very much. The koi pond is strong. Leave a comment. Let me know how you like that breakdown of my top stuff. If you want me to do more countdowns in the future, let me know what you thought of the format of the show. Just say hi. I like saying hi to you. So much love. I will see you guys next week. Same day, probably earlier. Probably going to go back to earlier. I wanted to finish Umbrella Academy. Did I talk about Umbrella Academy? I didn't talk about Umbrella Academy. That was the point of the show. So Umbrella Academy, Season 2. Spoiler review. Should have done this before the streaming recommendation, the comic recommendations. Let's talk about Umbrella Academy. First, non-spoilers. Non-spoiler thoughts about Umbrella Academy include, it is a very, very, very weird show. It maintains all of the weird from Season 1. It maintains that Gerard Way, borderline, like Alice in Wonderland psychosis. The characters are captivating. The family is wonderful. The hijinks are great. The action is on par with Season 1, and it really invests in how weird Season 1 was and leans into that. So that's just broad strokes thoughts. What the show does really well is have you love characters enough that when they do unlikable things, you still like them. What the show does well is invest you in a world so much that when something that shouldn't work at all happens, it totally does. Like perhaps a fish as a leader and it being like, I love the visuals of the show because they're really comic booky visuals. At one point in the show, there's a violin and you go into the violin and you just feel this set piece that you can tell, Gerard Way, like art directed. Like there's so much in the show that feels like a comic book. Those are some of the things it does absolutely splendidly. Still non-spoilers, but I didn't like this season as much as the first. For me, the first season is an A minus. First season is exceptional. I was impressed. I was surprised. I fell in love with all of these characters. I fell in love with all the actors portraying them that I didn't know before. I didn't know Robert Sheehan before, and now I've got to watch Misfits. The kid who plays number 5 should be Damian Wayne, like yesterday. That kid is Damian Wayne. The show, Season 1, was like, it showed me a new kind of show. And I don't know that Season 2 landed quite the same for me. Season 2 was fun, and it was interesting, and it was weird, and it was all of the surface things I liked about Season 1, but I was never as invested in Season 2 as I was in Season 1. There were times that I caught myself like drifting off. There were times I caught myself on my phone, and I didn't have that personally with Season 1. I'm not sure. I can't put my finger on what there was different about that, but going from an A- to this season, I'd give this a B. That is not bad. If you guys were here for my top 20 of 2020, my top 20 things were all A to B-. Like a B- is still in my top 20 caliber. A B is a very high grade for me. A C is an average bit of content. Anything above a C is above average, so it only goes up from a C. It's kind of how I grade. Anything below a C- is below average, and then a fail, obviously. That's how I grade in a bell curve. So a B is a great show. I was very happy to watch it. I was very invested in the concept of the show. I don't know if this was Season 1 if I would have been as invested, and that's why I got a B-. B. I haven't decided. B, B-. Because the show didn't do as many oh my god moments. The show didn't have that Stranger Things, I have to watch it, I'm so captivated. I found myself being like, I want to finish this to talk to the Koi Pond about it. I want to finish this to engage with the audience, but I wasn't watching it for me. I was watching it because I felt like I needed to be a part of the conversation. I needed to be part of this to have this conversation. So it's never good when a show feels like it's wanting you to watch it instead of you wanting to watch it. So it's a B, B-. The action felt a little bit more, not contrived, but a little bit more rote this season. And some of the choices definitely felt like they needed to be explained instead of being like, oh, that character would do that. So those are a few of my negatives. The positives, and this is where we're gonna get into slight spoilers. So those are the positives and the negatives, no spoilers. Let's go into spoilers. So warning, warning, spoiler, spoiler. Umbrella Academy Season 2, positives, negatives, spoilers, spoilers, and spoilers. The things I did like about it were it allowed the characters that didn't get a lot of time in Season 1 the time to shine in Season 2, and I think that's also maybe some of the things that maybe felt off, is because it's 7 characters. You've got to really flesh them out. So it gave us a lot more Diego. I like Diego so much more this season. I thought it was fascinating. It gave us a lot more of number 6. who is way more fleshed out this season, pun intended, because he's dead. He has a lot more to do, and I really like learning more about that character. But at the same time, I felt like they kept being like, people liked Klaus. Remember to put Klaus in here. Put Klaus. And I thought it was really forced that they kept going like, remember to put Klaus in because people liked him. And it didn't feel as organic. And obviously, I love Klaus. I think he's one of my favorite television characters, period. Klaus is a character that I completely, I'd love to have Klaus in everything. I'm probably doing like Hello Goodbye and doing Klaus for Halloween this year, in quarantine or not. Klaus feels like someone I relate to. So I wanted more Klaus, but I definitely noticed that feeling like the show also wanted more Klaus. So as much as I enjoyed more Diego and as much as I enjoyed more number 6, it didn't feel like it was as even flowy. I also felt like they had to like lean on the Ellen Page power set a lot more this season. I loved the Phoenix saga that happened with the first season where it was like a slow build. This season I was like, when does she have powers? She doesn't have powers, she has powers. She kind of has powers, what's going on? That seems like a Deus Ex Machina uses powers. And that felt a little, redundant. It felt like the first season but like in a new way. The 60s set was fun. I dug it. I think it's really important we talk about, the whites only diner and all those things that weren't that long ago. The fact that we're finding out that so many of the pictures we got in high school and history books were in color and they made them black and white to feel like they were longer ago is so fucked up. Like Martin Luther King marching, like the Selma Bridge, all these things are in color and they put them in black and white so it felt like that was older. Like that shit's crazy. So I think it's really important to show 1960s because that wasn't that long ago in how atrocious it was. So I love that aspect. But I felt like it kept trying to be 100 places at once, and that the first season landed the 100 places at once, and this season didn't quite as well. Again, a B is very enjoyable. I just noticed these flaws way more the second season. The music, as ever, is a lot of fun. I still really enjoy the juxtaposition of classic rock with modern set pieces, and in this case, modernized classic rock in a classic set piece. That was a blast. It's one of the best uses of Backstreet Boys I've ever heard in my life. There's a Backstreet Boys mic drop that actually made me laugh out loud, like a gah! Like I really liked that. Again, Klaus steals the show for me, and some of his dialogue is laugh out loud funny. I could have used more like depth with what Vanya was going through. I felt like they handled Vanya better the first season, even though I feel like she got more to do this season. I felt like I knew what was going on with her more in the first season in a positive way. Number 5 is a scene stealer. He should be in so many things. Toby, Luther, the Luther. I felt like they used him as a blunt object in not as creative of ways. I really enjoyed the character, but there were times I was like, oh, they need a strong guy, or they need a guy that looks like this, and it just didn't feel as organic. So I didn't feel like it was a cohesive superhero show, but what the show did was made me want season 3 more. So this felt like a bit of a sophomore slump, but it made me go like, I would like a season 3 to be XYZ, because now we've had season 1 that felt like it focused on these 3 and 4 characters, and then a season 2 that felt like it focused on these 2 or 3 characters. So now, going into season 3, we've really got all 7 of them very fleshed out, very much in their element, so we can go forward with the Umbrella Academy in season 3 as a much more interesting force. It ends with a strange kind of cliffhanger. It kind of has the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 ending, where it introduces a new team, and it's an interesting choice with number 6 with the like, I don't know if you guys remember like Star Trek when what's his name? Not Captain Kirk, the other guy. Spock. Evil Spock has a goatee. There's like evil number 6, and he's got like a faint goatee, and I was like, that's a very tried and true. He's evil. He's got a goatee. It was a weird choice. But I'm more excited for season 3 because of season 2. But I do feel like there was certainly a sophomore slump with season 2. So I enjoyed it. I'm really glad I watched it. I watched it over the course of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Over the course of 5 days, I watched the entirety of the show, which is saying a lot. I really enjoyed the fact that the show took its time. I would love to see, actually that's funny, I was about to say X-Men. Giancarlo Tambone said, felt like a proof of concept for an X-Men show. So the comic Umbrella Academy is a very, it's a Gerard Way who had just written Doom Patrol playing around with his own universe of those characters. There's a lot of DNA of the X-Men from Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol inspired the X-Men and vice versa. So it's funny you say that because the Doom Patrol character set leaning very heavily into X-Men and cross-pollinating led to Umbrella Academy in a really unique way. I do feel like this show is a very cool flavor to capture for X-Men. Obviously not as R-rated, not as anarchist, but you can do a lot with a world that hates and fears them with this long-form content. And especially with the budget they were able to pull with Netflix, I really think Disney Plus can make an X-Men show because of this in a very great way. So I really, really enjoyed that. I also loved, I'm so bad with names, I Heard a Rumor Girl. I loved her relationship with her husband. I bought it, even though they'd only been together for a year and got married quickly. I was in. Their love seemed real. I thought they were precious. They were actually one of the strengths of the show for me. That guy was great. There was something about the show that just felt just off a center for me. So I gave it a B. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I've seen it. I highly recommend you watch it, but I definitely recommend you read the comic. And I definitely think that season 3 has a much more likelihood to feel less uneven because of season 2. Because we've met these characters, we've lived with them, we know them all, it feels like the right time, and I really want season 3 to be something special. So, a solid B for Umbrella Academy season 2, a bit of a sophomore slump, a lot of fun action, a lot of fun writing, a lot of fun weird world, a lot of fun Klaus. It's a fun show. If you want something on that is like just a good time, the music keeps you going, it is high energy most of the time, and it's very interesting because of how weird it is. I do recommend overall Umbrella Academy Season 2. I have to say negatives because I'm always such a positive guy. I have to explain why it went from an A to a B. Those are some of the negatives, but there's a way more positives in general, including all the things I just listed. The acting is just, you believe these characters and how weird they are. I swear that. Number 5 is the oldest 13-year-old, whoever that kid is, in the history of time. Like, there's an old soul element to that character that I love. Like, when you watch Beasts of No Nation, that kid ages before you, like, he ages 20 years before your eyes. That's a different kind of depth of Old Soul. His snarky, I've lived through too much Old Soul is like the comedic version. It's just such an interesting character and take, and I really, really dug it. So I'm gonna one more time quickly check the Streamlabs just to make sure I didn't miss anything. But I do overall, once again, recommend Umbrella Academy Season 2. The entire season is available right now on Netflix. And if you like it, check out the Umbrella Academy comics. If you like those, check out the Doom Patrol comics. And if you like those, check out old, like, back in the day, Stan Lee X-Men comics for some of that same weird, because it is a whole journey. I'm so glad I remembered to talk about Umbrella Academy. That was the point of doing the show today. We have hit an hour and 30 minutes. We are officially a feature-length episode of Koi Cube. I hope you guys had a fun time. I certainly had a fun time. I appreciate the hell out of all y'all. I missed you. We'll be back next week. Probably a little earlier, but again on Tuesday. And remember that Thursday, I'm either doing Coy-lection or a live review of An American Pickle. And then on Sunday, we're going to be doing comic books and craft beer. So at least 3 shows this week. Plus, as ever, Wednesday, Koicast drops. That'll be out bright and early in the morning. My Patreon got a brand new podcast today. Just uploaded that today. So if you're a patron, check out the Patron-only podcast that drops on Tuesdays. That is available. And then on Friday, I'll be dropping my comic reviews. So all sorts of stuff coming at you, because who needs free time? All right, I appreciate you guys. So much love. I'll see you next week. And thank you for being here. And thank you, as always, to comic books for existing. Much love, guys.